from Oakland side, judge overseeing Shang Tao recall campaign lawsuit suddenly recuses herself. So it almost seems like somebody got to her. Judge Julia Spain threw out an investigative subpoena against the recall campaign earlier this week. Today, she reversed that order and removed herself from the case. So we know by now that the criminal politicians are going after the people trying to get rid of them, even though the criminal politicians breed criminal residents who are destroying Oakland. We just saw a story about a building in the crime corridor in which 16 small businesses were hit.
Oakland police said they believe at least 3 suspects were involved, but no arrests have been made.
And they didn't say, I read the whole article, but what did the thieves really get away with, or were they just trying to cause chaos? I mean, they're really rolling the dice out there. They're playing the lottery. What, you think a business in the crime corridor in Oakland just keeps $100,000 in their office? What the hell were you guys doing? But that's a different story. And my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because it would help me a lot and cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. They say, a judge who ruled in favor of the recall campaign targeting Mayor Shang Tao earlier this week has recused herself from the case shortly before a hearing today. So, for whatever reason, there is a judge. Well, we know the reason. It's because the people who are trying to recall Mayor Shang Tao didn't immediately offer up their entire life story, rectal exams, job history, all that stuff. So that's probably illegal. Meanwhile, the criminals who are running roughshod over Oakland's law-abiding citizens, well, we can't really find them, right? You have Sideshow in the street. You have Sideshow on the Bay Bridge. You have smash and grabs. You have bipping. You have all that stuff, but we can't find. For the record, there's a gas station in the crime corridor where 40 kids in the middle of the night, or I don't know, young adults, whatever, just ransacked this place that was closed, right? I mean, it was open, but the doors were locked and they were doing window service only. The kids broke in and stole a bunch of beers and sodas and snacks for 40 minutes, and there's been no arrest made. But when you try to get rid of the mayor, we're going to come after you. Alameda County Superior Court Judge Julia Spain's abrupt decision came 2 days after she issued a tentative ruling siding with the recall campaign and quashing a subpoena from Oakland's Public Ethics Commission seeking access to the recall campaign's records. This is obviously the backwards, bizarro world.
He's reliable. He's considerate. He's like your exact opposite.
So he's Bizarro Jerry.
Bizarro Jerry?
Yeah, like Bizarro Superman. Superman's exact opposite, who lives in the backwards, bizarro world. Up is down, down is up. He says hello when he leaves, goodbye when he arrives.
Shouldn't he say bad bye? Isn't that the opposite of goodbye?
No, it's still goodbye.
Does he live underwater?
No.
Is he black?
The political watchdog agency had filed a lawsuit against the recall campaign in June after its organizers refused to cooperate with a subpoena seeking fundraising records. Well, what about the fundraising records for the mayor, right? Isn't she facing an investigation, an inquiry right now from the FBI, which is also completely corrupt? But the political watchdog agency is going after the people who are trying to watch the politicians, and the agency is going after them. I mean, if that's not political thuggery, I really don't know what is. Spain wrote in her tentative ruling, that's the second time they've used the word tentative, because they want you to know that, well, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. We have to wait till the political thugs come here and make sure that, this is all on the level while the actual criminals continue to run roughshod, but I digress. That the subpoena, July 24th, that the subpoenas were unconstitutional and unenforceable. Ethics investigators are trying to figure out whether or not the recall backers violated Oakland's Campaign Reform Act. Look, and they're taking this so seriously. People trying to get rid of the mayor need to play it by the book every chance they get. Well, just stop doing that. Just run roughshod. Just commit crimes that, the cops in Oakland won't do anything. And that's a catch-22 as well. So in some cases, the cops should have done more. We've seen that. In other cases, the cops should do absolutely nothing. And in this case, the cops should go after the people trying to get rid of the mayor, who is the top of the top of the chain as far as the criminality is concerned. Circumventing rules that require political committees to disclose the source and amount of money received from contributors, which Oakland Mayor Shangtao hasn't really done. Same thing with Kamala Harris, who raised an astronomical amount of money in her first day announcing that she's running for president, and then there's a whole bunch of nasty, muddy stuff about how that may or may not have been fake. But I'm sure it's all on the level, and Kamala's going to come in and she's going to clean up Oakland, along with scumbag greaseball bang your wife, Governor Gavin Newsom. Investigators filed a subpoena for records in May, but the organizers refused to cooperate, so the commission sued to have a judge enforce their request. So these people are obviously in the bag for Shangtao, trying to make sure that people that want to get rid of her are basically made into criminals. Spain's recusal order doesn't say why she removed herself from the case. Court spokesperson Paul Rosanaski, said the court doesn't comment on judges' decisions. It's not uncommon for judges to step away from a case if they have a connection to one of the parties. One possible connection is Brenda Harbin Forte, the head of the recall campaign. Harbin Forte served as an Alameda County Superior Court judge from 1998 till 2019. Harbin Forte and the recall's spokesperson, Seneca Scott, shout out Seneca, did not respond to an interview request. Yeah, so I'm sure you could reach out to them and they would just jump at the chance. Maybe they would jump at the chance, but they know, obviously, the Oakland side here is completely controlled regime media. The judge's tentative ruling sided with the recall campaign. And that's bizarre that it's even gotten this far, where a judge has to rule in favor of some people who collected a whole bunch of signatures to get rid of the mayor, who is clearly corrupt, it's not all her fault, but she is furthered, she has energized, she has accelerated the demise of Oakland, California. In her tentative ruling, that's the fourth time actually. It's just tentative, right? That was a tentative ruling. We are going to make sure that we send somebody at this to make sure that Mayor Shangtao stays in office and has nothing to do with waste management. Spain said the commission failed to give the recall organizers enough time to respond to the subpoenas and did not make it clear privileged records were exempt from the search. Spain also ruled that the subpoenas were unconstitutional because they asked the recall organizers to search records belonging to their officers, treasurers, employees, contractors, volunteers, and agents. Spain wrote that enforcing the subpoenas would blatantly violate due process, infringe on the privacy rights of unnamed individuals, require an unreasonable search of the private records, and implicate the constitutional freedom of association of entire categories of individuals who were not provided notice of the subpoena at issue and were not informed that petitioners sought access to their private records. So it's just completely crazy, right? Mayor Shangtao, I guess she's cooperating, but she did nothing wrong. I mean, the FBI searched your home, and you have to be doing something really bad because the FBI is also corrupt. But it makes sense. It's par for the course. We remember when San Francisco mayor right across the bridge, London Breed, also faced ethics violations. But in this case, the ethics and the political watchdogs are going after the people trying to get rid of the politicians. The judge's ruling aligned with arguments raised by the recall organizers' attorney, Todd Pickles, who had stated that the recall organizers have followed campaign finance laws. But why follow any laws? It's absolute. We just saw a story about the 16 small businesses in a building in Oakland. It's complete lawlessness. So it's just crazy how these people have to play it by the book, but the criminals clearly do not. In previous letters to the commission, Pickles also accused the PEC of filing subpoenas for an improper political purpose and said he believed the commission has close ties to the mayor's office. Yes, clearly. And therefore a conflict of interest. In a recent, a conflict of interest for regular people, but for the mayor, it's right. It makes perfect sense. The parties were scheduled to meet today at 2 p.m. I don't even recall what day this article was written. July 26, 2024. So they were supposed to meet on that day at 2 p.m. But the hearing was canceled, and the tentative, bro, they're just littering this entire article with the word tentative, motion rescinded. The case is now scheduled to go before a different judge for a case management hearing on November 6, 2024, one day after Oakland holds its elections, including the question of whether to recall Shang Tao. So that's odd, right? One day after the elections, there's going to be a hearing that has been rescheduled from July to November. All very strange. The Oakland side, which clearly cannot be trusted, asked the PEC's executive director, Nicholas Hydorn, if the commission still plans to refile its subpoenas with revised language. We did not receive an immediate response. In court records, the PEC's enforcement chief, Simon Russell, wrote that public records available to the commission show a pattern which suggests that Oust, the official committee running the recall, solicited contributions to itself via Oakland United, a separate group that hasn't yet had to file any campaign disclosure forms showing where its funding is coming from. Why do they care so much where the funding is coming from? Because they want to put the boot on everybody's neck and make them completely broke and make them completely scared, and 911 doesn't work. So how could anybody have enough money to get this thing in motion? We got to find out who that is. Oakland United raised money with the purpose of contributing it to Oust. Oust did not report any earmarked contributions when it filed disclosure forms earlier this year, Russell wrote. In April, the recall campaign emailed prospective donors saying, "We have options for donors to remain private if you prefer." The letter included an email for a consultant working for Foundational Oakland Unites. Representatives of Foundational Oakland Unites told the Oakland side at the time that the emails were poorly worded by a volunteer. The representative said Foundational has not taken any anonymous donations and that all contributions over $100 used for political purposes will be publicly disclosed per state election rules. I mean, is this really a can of worms that they want to open up, especially when the mayor herself is embroiled in some weird campaign finance fraud scheme with the waste management company? The committee, Oakland United to Recall Shang Tao, disclosed in April that it had raised $61,646 in cash contributions from individuals between January and March, nearly half of which came from tech billionaire. Okay, so came from tech billionaire Ron Conway and two of his children. The campaign also received $210,000 in non-monetary support from Foundational Oakland Unites, which paid for a signature gathering to get the recall on the ballot. Okay. I mean, this is an absolute mess, bro. And look, there's a little a cannabis delivery service ad on this Oakland side article. But obviously, Oakland side is in the bag for the Democratic establishment regime. But Oakland Mayor Shang Tao, this lady, okay, she's probably not on the same level as Tiffany Henyard, but we don't hear too much about her anymore. And this is just the next thing. So the people that are trying to recall Mayor Shang Tao were turned into criminals, then foisted, they had a lawsuit foisted upon them, and then a judge said, you can't foist that lawsuit on them, and then said, actually you can, and I'm going to go away.